What's up? It's Yvan Jayne, back at home in Glenrose, Texas, and today I wanted to talk to you about strength gauges, and I think that's something that can really help you up your game, your rodeo game. So this could work for bareback riders, but it can also work for bronc riders and bull riders. What are strength gauges? Well, we've all played video games, and when you play video games, you can see the player. When you pick a player, what they're good at and what they're not so good at. Okay, so you might have a guy who's really good in offense and really good at passing the ball, but is terrible in defense, for example. It's the same thing in rodeo. Like, what are you good at and what are you bad at? What could you improve on? Especially, what could you concentrate on to move up in the rankings? And today that's what I want to talk to you about. So we're going to look at strength gauges. The first strength I want to talk to you about is your physical strength. Are you strong? Are you in good shape? Are you healthy? Are you eating healthy? All that stuff that you can improve, how are you doing? Are you at a 50, 60%? Is there room for improvement? Or are you just a sloppy eater and you just don't really take care of your body and you're down at 20, 30%? So, you have to identify your weaknesses. Is that one of your weaknesses? Can you improve? Can you cut off your sodas? Can you cut off your cheese from your diet? Can you start going to the gym more often? Do you have the people around you that motivate you to go to the gym? Are you hanging out with those people, or are you hanging out with the people that want to go and drink beer? So, there are some choices that you can make in here to up your physical game. The second one I want to talk to you about is your technical game, and that's really important. You're moving the camera way too much.
Man, if I got a bug on me.
The second one I want to talk to you about is your technical game. Your technical game is pretty much what it says. Are you technically good at riding bulls, or riding barebacks, or riding broncs? Are you doing the right thing? Are you getting the advice from the right people? How are you doing? Are you at 50%? Because if you're at 50%, there's a lot of room for you to improve. And maybe if you're already up on your physical game, pretty up high, maybe you should concentrate a little bit more on your technical. Technical, how to improve it? It's going to have to be for you practice. Whether it's practicing your movement without even a dummy. So, you know, you could be walking around the house and just like marking horses out, doing that maybe 50 times a day. Or maybe it's getting on the mighty bronchi at the house, on the bucking machine, on the spur board. But not only getting on a lot, but you have to make sure you're doing the right thing. Because if you're doing 50 times the wrong thing in one day, there's some pretty nasty habits that you're going to have to get rid of later down the line. So, how do you know what you're supposed to do? You ask questions. At this point, you have to ask questions. You ask questions to the guys that you see at the rodeo, they're better than you. And maybe you ask questions to guys online. Maybe you get a hold of some of the NFR guys, ask them questions. A lot of them will be helpful. A lot of them will ignore you, but some guys will actually help you. So, try to get help from the right people. Strength gauge number 3. It's your mental game. Are you ready for this? Are you ready to make the sacrifices? Are you ready to be on the road? Are you ready to be in pain? All that stuff, you've got to be ready for it, and it's mental. Not only your mental, the people that surround you. Is your wife, your girlfriend, your sister, your mom, whoever is around you, do they know what you're fixing to do? Do they know how much commitment you want to throw in there? Do you have commitment? Is it the right type of commitment? Do you want to rodeo for the right reasons? What are your reasons for you to rodeo? You have to analyze your strength, but also your weaknesses. There's certain things that you can do and people that you can talk to that will help you up your mental game. Strength gauge number 4. This is going to be your financial. How are you going to be able to rodeo? It costs a lot of money to get going, especially when you're learning rodeo, when you're starting to rodeo. There's a learning curve to it. You're going to have to spend money. You're going to have to spend money on equipment, on the road, on entry fees, on a lot of little things that you didn't know that you were going to have to spend money on. Maybe some hospital bills. So all this takes money? Do you have some people that can help you and financially help you to get there? Or do you have to work on the side? Or maybe you should enter smart and enter the rodeos where it's easier for you to get paid at first. Okay, so we're trying to grow in this sport, not to hit the very top right away and get completely demolished by entry fees, $300 and $400 entry fees, competing against guys that have been rodeoing twice as long as you've been. So how's your financial game? Do you have that little bit of money in the bank that you can keep pushing, because you might draw 3 or 4 bad horses in one weekend and you might end up doctor releasing, or you might end up not rodeoing the weekend after, but that weekend after maybe you had the 3 or 4 horses to win all of those rodeos. So you got to keep pushing through. Financial is very important. You don't want to be nodding your head thinking, how am I going to eat tonight, or how am I going to pay my entry fees that I haven't paid for the horse that I'm riding right now. So financially, be ready to take on rodeo. Analyze your weaknesses, analyze your strength. Maybe you're physically good, maybe you're mentally good, but maybe your technique is low. You could be the best athlete in the world, okay? But if you don't know squat about bareback riding, you're never going to be able to compete with the other guys. If you're financially not stable, but you have everything going for you, you're not going to be able to compete with the other guys. So find the gauges that are the lowest, concentrate on those, and try to bring them up. And then once you get them up, try to bring everything up as close as possible to being perfect. Well, I hope you've enjoyed all those tips. Maybe you got questions, you can write them. Please hit the subscribe button. I will be coming out with more videos. You don't want to miss them. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you pretty soon.